the Hall of Fame, here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Shoop, welcome inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me as always. We coming to you from ESPN 975-925, guys, and we are getting ready to do it like it's supposed to be done. Make all them suckers bow down. All you guys in the chat, we appreciate you. We love you, and we're about to get this thing crack-a-lackin'. Bradley, how you doing, dog?
I'm doing good, but obviously not as good as you. You must have had a hell of a Father's Day weekend. You're all ready to go, man.
Couple of cocktails, man.
Before the show?
Yesterday.
Yesterday. You got to
still got a little buzz going. No, man, I'm excited about July 15th, man. Summer Champions going down Home Civic Center. Man, Summer Champions 9. Let's get that straight, man. 9 consecutive seasons of Summer Champions, and this was going to be bigger than they've ever been, man. Trick Williams is going to be MC and Alicia Fox co-MC, a special guest referee, enforcer Nick Patrick. Oh my God, all the championships will be on the line. It's going to be awesome, man. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited about everything. Just came back from the beach as well. I was down at the beach this weekend, me and my homie, Rover. We just was hanging and chilling on the beach for a couple of days. So I'm re-energized, man, as well as I'm getting ready for Go Rush. It's going down NXT this week, man. Night 1 of Gold Rush. So, guys, that's why I'm excited, man. That's why I'm all giddy and hyped up right now.
Man, a lot of good matches, too, on that Gold Rush card. You have Baron Corbin versus that man, Carmelo Hayes. And then you have Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker for the World Heavyweight title.
Man.
That's a big show. I don't know if Seth's been back to NXT since he won the NXT title.
No, I don't think
lost
so.
the NXT title.
I don't think so. And that's what's cool about. I was listening to. I was reading when Nick Khan said that NXT now is the third brand, not just a developmental concept. And I like this concept, being able to have guys like Baron Corbin. Around. I mean, he had a hell of a match last week.
Match.
I mean, last week, man. If you guys didn't see that match with him and the Mad Dragon, you got to go check it out, man. It was such an awesome matchup. And the thing for me, Barrett had to. He really had to push himself in that match. He really had to take himself to another place because them young cats, man, down in NXT, man, they bring it. They bring it every week. But to see someone like Baron Corbin to step in and take that role and embrace that role, it says a whole lot about Baron Corbin. And now having someone like Seth Rollins come back and mix it up with, that man, no bread, no water, just meat, Braun Breaker. It's gonna be good, man. I'm excited about it.
What do you think that does for someone like Seth Rollins to come down to NXT to defend the World Heavyweight title? What does that do for someone like Braun Breaker?
The rub, man. The rub is so important in this business, to be able to work with a guy that's as high caliber as Seth Rollins, a guy who came through that same system and did it and then went on to the main roster and boom, exploded to the point to now being the World Heavyweight Champion. It's going to do a hell of a lot for him, There's no losers in that matchup right there. There again, I always go back to my first time in there with Steamboat, my first time in there with Savage. It was a different feel. It was a different flavor, and I knew it. I knew what it was all about, and it was me sitting under that learning tree, and hopefully, a little bit of it can rub off on me. And trust me, bro, I always said, that 20 minutes with Steamboat was like about maybe 3 years of wrestling school training. Seriously, I'm not playing. I'm not jiving. I'm dead serious.
Where does Seth rank right now in the world? Is he the best wrestler in the world? Is he top 2? Is he top 3?
It's hard for me to even rank guys.
Is he in the Fave 5?
Seth Rollins he's been in my Fave 5 for some time, just because I talk about how much of an artist this guy is. Writing romance novels. That's how good his storytelling has been as of late, being able to go through that whole journey of, the 1,000-day run of Roman Reigns and still be focused and in tune and understanding what this long game thing is all about to now coming out on this side, smelling like a rose. Yeah, man, he's one of the guys who understand the business, and I respect that.
I think he's arguably top 3 in the world, in my opinion. It's hard to put anybody above Roman right now just for the run that he's on. But when you talk about bell-to-bell action, doing it consistently on every show, you can't look past guys.
Well, you're going to get a lot of heat for that, man. You're going to get a lot. Well, you may not get a lot of heat from it just because you said it. But
no,
if I said it, I'm going to get the heat for it.
You know what it's going to say? It's going to say Booker T's co-host says Seth Rollins is better than Roman Reigns. That's what they're gonna put it in small, in like 8-point times New Roman. Just like cold impact.
And the thing is, because there's a lot of guys out there, there's a lot of great wrestlers out there. But I understand what you're talking about. You're talking about guys that's on the big show, under the bright lights, on a weekly basis, going out there doing it, and not just going out there doing it, staying consistent.
Consistent is more than anything.
I mean, I always talk about it. Sometimes you win by attrition, by not getting hurt. And that's Seth Rollins. He's been that guy who has been able to go out there and weather the storm, not get hurt, not probably getting hurt all the time, but not getting injured, and still being able to go out there and perform and taking the roles that he have and making the best out of those roles. Sometimes Seth Rollins, he's done very little on a lot of these shows, but you remember everything about Seth Rollins, and that right there is the mark of a talent for me. And
just to be honest, like for a minute, he kind of cooled off like a couple years ago, right? In my opinion, it's not his matches or anything, but just where he was in the show. He didn't feel, this is just my opinion, he didn't feel like he was the top guy for about a year and 18 months there.
Because he wasn't. And that's what I always talk about. I always say it's not always going to be your turn. It's not always going to be your turn. And sometimes you may not even be the guy that they're thinking about, but you still got to know how to keep yourself in the game all the time. And Seth, like I say, he may have just done that through the seamstress. They make me some of the craziest gear for the next year, and I'm going out and I'm just act as crazy as I possibly can. Sometimes you got to go out there and entertain yourself and get over at the same time doing it. Sometimes you can't think about the big picture. You just got to say, man, I'm having some fun right now. The check's in the mail. Either way, you know what I mean? So sometimes you got to know when to just take a step back to be able to take that step forward.
And you know what? You're 100% right. Knowing how to stay relevant even when you're not the top guy. And then when it's your time to heat up, you can do it. You can almost turn that on, right? Because when he's had this opportunity to be the world heavyweight champion, it seemed like in the months leading up to that, probably knowing we're going into this kind of direction, he just heated right back up. He got hot again.
Some of my best times was in my cool down periods, I think. I think Goldust and I was a cool down period for me.
Right, but then y'all became like one of the more entertaining things.
Yeah, but we were entertaining, but Goldie and I, we used to sit in the locker room sometime. We used to be like, when the camera's not rolling, we would be, man, like, they actually pay us to do this? We come to work to do this every week. We didn't have anything going on the show a lot of times as far as wrestling matches or anything like that. And then it evolved into, us becoming a tag team and actually going out and having tag matches and win the tag titles. But for me, that was like a cool down period. For me, I knew I wasn't going to be the world champion at that time or anything like that. So why not take a step back and have some fun, enjoy the fruits of the labor. And one thing about this business, man, I've heard people talk about it all the time, and it's true. It's a never-ending story, man. The clock is ticking all the time. We're always on the go. We're always on the run. So when you do get a chance to gear down for a second, for me, I always used to love to gear down. And like I say, take what little I possibly could have on a weekly basis. Stick around, guys. We got to take a break. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
Hey, this is two-time Hall of Famer Booker T, and I want to invite all of you to Summer of Champions 9, going down at the Humble Civic Center, 7 o'clock bell time, guys. Brought to you by one Walker, Texas lawyer. Don't miss out on the biggest show of the summer where all the championships will be on the line. Don't miss out. Don't get shut out. Summer of Champions 9. Now can you dig that sucker?
Boom! Summer Champions 9 going down, guys, July 15 Humble Civic Center. You don't want to miss out. You don't want to get shut out because all the championships will be on the line. The gold, baby. The gold rush. No pun intended. Gold rush going down this week as well, man. Cannot wait to see exactly what happened. You know, I've been getting a lot of tweets over the last few as far as people are lobbying for me to be the new general manager in NXT.
I've seen this little groundswell.
Yeah, man. Everybody, want the authority, figure. And my thing is, I like my spot. I I like being right there at the table. Somebody come over there, whack me, I'm go flying. I like that part of my job. I'm always right in the middle of traffic too. But general manager, man, that job's a little bit too slow for me. You only get a chance to work in spots. At the table, you're working all night, baby. It's like being in Vegas, like being at the gambling table, like throwing the dice, baby. You know what I mean?
Crap shooter. Yeah, you know what, though? Because the reason why people are saying that is because you've done such a good job in those segments where you're setting matches up or, having the contract signings.
Yeah, I love the contract signings, man.
You've been good. Contract signings are the best. They're the best story element, I think, in wrestling. Like as far as like an angle that you could set up, contract signings is great.
I love it, man. The one I did with Mello, the one I did with the girls, and that stuff I get a chance to ad lib. I get a chance to throw my shucky ducky quack in when I need to get the crowd and the in the arena, hyped up. They'll be a part of it as well, So as well as just being able to interwork with the talent, not on camera, but before we actually get a chance to actually go out and do it, to be able to, direct from a perspective. It's almost like, being in Hollywood when you got that role and you're working with young talent. They're like clay, man. They're like clay, and they want to be molded properly. And for me to be able to actually do that and it get accepted as well as it does, man. Like I said, I'm over the moon right now as far as where I'm at.
Well, I want to talk more about NXT Gold Rush that we're going to be breaking down. Obviously, we're on all week this week. We're going to be talking about the fallout from Gold Rush Week 1. Also want to get your thoughts on AEW Collision. I have some questions I want to ask about you and some observations that I made from the debut episode. Also, everybody watching us right now, shout out where you are watching us from in the chat. We got a couple of super chats coming in. One that's a $50 super chat that we're going to get to here in just a second. From Richard Jr. But before we get there was something I wanted to ask you about. Because this show makes news. Everyone knows this. All right. We're a news-making show. We are keeping the wrestling news websites afloat most weeks. And shout out to all the good ones out there. There's a lot of them. And then there's a lot of not so good ones. But there was we were talking about your All About D5 promo.
All About D5.
If it walked like a chicken and it clucked like a chicken, it's a chicken. That's what they said in your country. And by the way, regular viewers of reality wrestling, you're going to love something coming up in a couple weeks. That's all I'm going to say. But that video we put out of you reacting to TNA got a lot of headlines, mainly from where you said you were ashamed, was the word you used, by a lot of the stuff that you did in TNA.
Yeah.
You said when you got there, you had the best of intentions, and you wanted to do well, but you saw within a few weeks there was a lot of disorganization, let's say, within the company structure. That was going to prevent
structure. Let's say structure. I wouldn't say disorganization. Yeah, just structure.
Not a lot of structure. Okay, better word, structure. One of the guys who saw this headline and then reacted to it on his show was Dutch Mantel, who WWE fans might know as Zeb Coulter. When he had a run there in WWE, he said a few things on, I don't know if you saw, did you see the clip?
Yeah, I did.
Or you read it?
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
There were a few things that he said in there that I kind of wanted to ask you about. One, for clarification's sake, because some of it didn't seem right to me, knowing you and also knowing your story. The first thing that really stuck out to me, because this doesn't sound like you, and if you can go back to your global wrestling days, your WWA days, your WCW days, your WWFE run the first time, this most recent time, your time with reality wrestling. So I think it's applicable to TNA. Dutch said that you were like bigger than the brand, or you acted like you were bigger than the brand after he said WWE released you, and then you went to TNA, and you were almost acting as if you were bigger than the brand. I just want to get your comments to that.
He said he said I thought that I was had that feeling that I was bigger than the brand. And also just to go back, I was just talking about me admitting my faults. That's all. I just wanted to get it out there as far as I didn't go into TNA, thinking that I was going to, change the whole name of the game or anything. But I did go into TNA with good intentions. When things didn't happen the way I envisioned them, I just said, okay, I'm going to have some fun for these next 2 years, whatnot. But, I never thought I was bigger than the brand. When I first got to TNA, they gave me a Legends Championship, one of the most beautiful belts I ever seen in my life. And I didn't even know what the belt was for. No one never explained it to me or anything like that. No one ever gave me any direction as far as what that title meant. That's what I'm talking about as far as structure. First thing I'm going to do as far as structure go, if I got a legend coming into my company and we're creating a Legend Championship for him, he's going to know about it. Okay. I was surprised by the Legends Championship myself. I was like, oh, you kidding me? It's like a gift someone was getting. But there again, this is wrestling. Everything is supposed to be talked about, and everything's on the table. And for Dutch to say that, I don't know where it's coming from. He said the only reason I made my way there to TNA was because WWE was wrapping me up.
Right.
It gave him his notice. And I just want, I've never been fired from any job in this business, any company. I've never been fired, not once. And where he get his information, he say that's what he heard. That's hearsay. You might want to, get your sources right when you say stuff like that, because that was just blatantly false. He said WWE was not going to renew my contract at that time. And me personally, I hate talking about business, insider business, because it's not for outside. If I'm not talking about it, nobody should be talking about it. But as far as my contract being renewed, I was at the top of my game when I left WWE. I don't know if he realized that. King Booker was at the top of his game. I was at main event status when I left WWE. It was no reason for me to leave WWE but to get my mind right. I was going through a lot of personal stuff at that time that I don't even want to talk about. That, trust me, Dutch Mantell have no idea about as far as what I was going through in my personal life at that time. And he's also said, I was looking for somewhere after WWE let me go, and I found it in TNA. When TNA called me, I was on the beach in Newport Beach, California, when TNA called me and asked me to come back to work. I was 20 pounds overweight and everything. I swear to God, I had to delay going to TNA because I had to go on a diet for a month straight. That's where I was. I had no intentions on wrestling anywhere at that time, but the offer came. It was a good offer, 70 days, a year or something like that. I took it. It wasn't like I was breaking the bank or anything. And he say, I feel like I was bigger than the company. Seemed like I would have been one bigger than the company money when I came in, if that's the case. I had a measly contract in TNA because it wasn't about the money. I was just trying to stay in shape, just trying to stay, keep myself motivated. In the 2 years I was there, people thought I was retired. So that's not the point. That's not the point. My point is, when people like Dutch Mantell speak about stuff like this, that they don't know about, telling other people's stories, they should keep their mouth shut. All right. This is not a story for Dutch Mantell to be telling because he don't know it. This is my story as far as me getting let go or me getting fired or whatever the case may be. If you don't know it, stay. And the thing is, that story, as far as what happened with me and WWE, it's probably a select of 2 or 3 people may know exactly what happened, and I'm one of them. So that kind of stuff irks me when I hear someone totally out of bounds talking about something that they have no idea about. Now, let's go to the we got to take a break. We got to take a break.
We
here.
do because I have more on this.
No, we got to take a break in like 30 seconds. We haven't even gotten to the TNA part. We haven't even gotten there.
Well, because I'll tell you what attracted me to the video was the title was that you were difficult to work with.
Exactly my point. Exactly.
And I want to ask you about your difficulties or lack thereof in TNA. And if you thought, because look, we've talked about certain things on this show from your TNA days over the years. That some people have brought up against you.
But let's get this straight. Stuff that I really never really want to talk about until I see stories from people back in that time in TNA saying Booker T was this, Booker T was that, and I'm like, none of that is true. And the thing is, you know why it's not true? Because you don't hear none of the young guys who was relevant in that company say anything negative about Booker T. Ask Samoa Joe, ask AJ, ask Rude, ask Jay Lethal, ask Xavier Woods, ask all those guys. That's all you got to do. Don't ask the upper echelon. Talk to the boys. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
Can you dig it, sucker?
You're listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Shoop! Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, y'all. We just chilling, talking about a little sports entertainment. Wrestling. We're talking about wrestling today. We got to get back in the wrestling category on a weekly. We got to start breaking news again on a regular. With this story, we better start breaking something. Let's get it going.
I mean, for those of you just tuning in the last segment, we were talking about, I call him a wrestling legend, Dutch Mantel. His name definitely rings bells inside the wrestling community. Has done a lot in the business. And what was his? Let me say what he was doing. So he was talking on his show about your comments regarding your TNA run, and the title of the video was Booker T, Dutch Mantel on Booker T being difficult to work with in TNA. You've addressed the part about him saying you were wrapped up in WWE, coming off of the greatest run of perhaps your entire career as King Booker. And I believe you were in the main event of SummerSlam that year against Triple H.
I was.
Was that your last? I think that was your last match.
That was my last show.
Yeah. So, wrapping you up, I guess. But he said that people said that you were somewhat difficult to work with.
He said I was difficult. He said,
right,
he said, and I quote, I was difficult to work with. I would get, have an agent would tell me something and immediately I would want to change it. That's what he said.
Not only would you immediately want to change it, he said you would immediately run to Vince Russo to get him to change it. And then Vince Russo would tell you to talk to Dutch, and then Dutch would tell you to talk to Jerry.
That never happened. I may have had, a few conversations with Vince when I was, with Jeff when I was there. I had a few conversations with Vince, of course, just because he was writing everything. As far as Dixie, I never had one conversation with her about a match. One time.
Because he said you went over everyone's head and went to Dixie.
Yeah.
Right?
Not one time did I ever talk to Dixie Carter about a wrestling match in that company. Never. That wasn't even not one time. And me getting bounced around like that, as far as what's the concept on this finish? If it's something that I didn't like, I was going to say I didn't like it. It was just that simple. It wasn't like I was feeling like I was big shot than anybody else or anything like that. But I did specifically want. I really didn't care about what anybody else's segment looked like, but I did want the segment that I was going to be in to look a certain way. I did want that. Just because I'm a professional. I'm a perfectionist. I want the fans to be entertained. If I'm getting the hell beat out of me, I want the fans to actually really believe it. You know what I mean? So I need everything to be proper when this is going on. It's just like, say, for instance, like I said, I hate talking about insider business, but I need stuff to be right. At one point, I think I was having an ambulance match with Robert Roode. I think it might have been Robert Roode. And at one point, they wanted it was it was before the ambulance match. It was before the match ever happened. They just had a prop out there. They wanted me to beat the hell out of Robert Roode and throw him in the ambulance, hit the door, and then the ambulance drive off. And I go, wait a minute, he's the baby face. Should he be beating me up and throwing me in the ambulance? Now, and I say that because I didn't care about me being beat up and thrown in the ambulance. I just wanted it to be right. Get my point?
100%. Yeah.
And if me speaking up on stuff like that makes me difficult to work with, good God, I feel for this business. One thing about guys, sometimes when I hear a lot of times older guys, and I'm an older guy myself, but I try to think young. I'm around a lot of young guys, and I try to think that I'm not the smartest guy in the room all the time. That's just my nature. Some guys are just too old to even be talking about this stuff, because at the beginning of that clip, they talked about I think the co-host, I'm not sure what his name is. He asked Dutch, he has a question about Booker T being in TNA, him being difficult to work with. I know you don't remember a whole lot about your TNA days, but what do you remember about this? And then he elaborated. You don't even remember anything. So how can you remember what my conversations with people were and my dealings with people were, and that kind of stuff, man? It's just, I think people should stay in their lane and talk about stuff that they know about more than anything. And a lot of these old guys, man, I'm gonna tell you right now, they forgot about a lot of stuff. Their memory is foggy, and a lot of times they're just making up stuff. You've seen the territories, right?
Yes. All fugazi. Like, I don't believe anything I watch on that show. You know what I mean? I don't believe anything.
Okay. I think Dutch Mattel was on one of the episodes.
He might have executive produced it, for all I know. I'm just playing. Well, and here's the thing. Like, look, I don't know Dutch Mantell from Adam. I've never met the man.
Wait a minute. I don't know Dutch Mantell.
Yeah.
I mean, even when he was in WWE as Zeb Coulter, I've never broken bread with Dutch Mantell. I've never sat with him and really gone over, what's the psychology of wrestling is all about. Or I don't know what guys like that, obsession is about speaking on me is all about. I really don't. I had a hell of a career. I got 2 rings. Show
him. Let's see him.
I don't have a moment right now.
Oh,
not that thing. But I got several world championships.
Got a couple.
Several tag team championships. And you know what? I'm not looking at that as nothing but anything other than the company believed in me enough to put me in position at that time to represent the company. So don't nobody act stupid and go out there and say, well, he's thinking about he's winning all these. Look, I know what the wrestling business is. I know I was good enough to be in it. I know I was good enough to work at the top level and work with anybody in this business, bar none. I work with the best. And the guys that work with me, the best of the best, the Bret Harts of the world, they'll tell you how good Booker T was. They'll tell you. The Rocks, they'll tell you how good Booker T was. The Stings of the world, they'll tell you exactly how good that young man was. He was good. I've actually been compared to Michael Jordan, the Michael Jordan of professional wrestling. That's me. So for me, I know what I've done in this business. I'm not braggadocio about it or anything like that. I've always known it wasn't about me. Even when I went to TNA, I honestly, truly knew that it wasn't about me. I honestly, truly knew that I went in there to make all of those guys better. Now, like I say, after a couple of weeks, I did lose my zeal for going out there and performing, at that level. I say, let's have some fun. They talk about my British accent.
Well, that's what I was going to bring up.
Okay, go ahead. What's your
because there's actually three more things I want to say about this. One, I have heard people call you the Michael Jordan of professional wrestling. Ironically, it was Scottie Pippen who called you that. So I don't know if that was a compliment or not. but no, in all seriousness, when I was watching this video, they were talking about Zeb was like, and yeah, he was on commentary one time and he starts talking in this British accent, and I didn't know where the hell that came from. And then his co-host, no shame to him, said, it's not really a British accent, which is funny because he's English. He was like, this is a hangover from the King Booker run. And I'm like, well, in no disrespect to Dutch, but like, if you don't know Booker's King Booker run and where that British accent may have come from, right, then I can't really listen to anything.
Wait a minute. No, that's not the most important part.
What's the most important part?
The most important part to that. I did start doing the British accent. Okay. But at one point, Zeb said, that's Zeb.
It's Zeb, Dutch.
That said that he didn't know where it came from. He worked in the office. He worked in the office.
Right.
So he went to Vince Russo. He said he didn't know where it came from. Now, that's what I mean by structure.
And he said Jeff didn't know where it came from.
Jeff didn't know where it came from. No one knew where it came from. Okay, now I get it. You guys are office guys. Maybe you want to go ask the talent, hey, man, what are you doing with this, using this accent? We don't want this on the show. Am I right here?
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about as far as structure. No one was telling me what to do. No one was telling me what not to do. No one wrote a promo for me or anything like that. No one, so if I'm wrong here about something, let me know. But I think I'm 100% right about structure, and that proves it.
Well, that proves it right there. Well, no. The other thing
I had a guy on my show showed up, and he wanted to wear some face paint and stuff and whatnot. And I told him, "What the hell do you think you're doing? We don't do that over here." He did it on the other side of town on a regular basis, but you don't do that reality wrestling because we got structure. Mm-hmm. Everything's structured a certain way. And he's working in the office, and he doesn't have, he doesn't have the wherewithal to come and ask me, hey, Book, I'm not going to use the other word. He doesn't have the wherewithal to come and ask me, hey, Book, what are you doing using the accent? We really don't want that here. That's kind of like what you did over there in WWE, and we don't want it. Seemed like you would have had the nerve to come and say something to me, but no one had any courage. No one had any zeal to actually come and tell me.
That's your word of the day, zeal. You've been looking up stuff for NXT. That's what's going on.
Because his co-host had a problem and almost didn't understand the word. Okay, go look it up. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame because I look everything up these days. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Coming to you from ESPN 975-925. Just bringing it to you like it's supposed to be done. You know what, guys? I'm all about telling the truth. All right, I tell the truth. Anytime you hear me tell a story or talk about something, if it's not 100% truth, I'm not going to talk about it. at 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be talking about myself if I'm telling a story about something really, really in depth. I'm never going to tell anybody else's story. I'm never going to tell it the way I thought it may have been with somebody else or what someone else was going through at that point in time. Because with human beings, you never know what they're going through. You just don't. When you're on the job, you know, especially a job like this, a lot of moving parts, man. I mean, it's very, very fluid. If you got time to think about what somebody else is doing, that's a problem. Seriously. Of course. I've been in the business now 32 years. I think Dutch said I wrestled 30 years. Okay, I think that's what he said. I wrestled 30 years. I just want these guys to understand more importantly than anything, man. I'm straight up, and Zeb, when I see you, I'm gonna say hello to you.
There is one thing that he said.
The thing is, I'm not about beating up senior citizens or anything like that. I just want, I don't.
You're not going to beat anybody. You said you're going to say hello.
Exactly. I just want people to know that.
Friendly. How you doing?
Yeah.
Dutch.
Yeah.
I have a question though about one other thing that he said that I just want confirmation on, because it wasn't about you, but I have to know if this is true or not. He did talk about at one point, Jeff Jarrett used to walk around with a Bluetooth. And if Jeff didn't want to talk to you, he would point to the Bluetooth and act like he was on a call. Is that true? Because if it's true, it just shows to me that Jeff Jarrett is one of the greatest workers of all time. It just shows to me he's one of the best ever. That's good. That's a good gimmick. Sorry, brother.
I used to walk around in the gym, you know, with earphones on, and I made sure, you know, if I could hear somebody say something to me and I wouldn't answer, but I can assure you that never happened. Okay, I can assure you that never happened.
With you,
with me,
right?
At one time, and I don't know what these guys get off thinking that. I don't know. You might could do that kind of stuff with Dutch, but no way that would go over with me very well at all. Okay,
I didn't see it.
If anybody knows me, knows something like that would not go well with me. As far as being passive, that's not my nature at all. And if I had, you know, a problem with Jeff and I would talk about it, because Jeff and I we've always been straight up. Jeff and I, we've always been men. Jeff has been nothing but a businessman as far as I'm concerned since day one, when he, you know, put me over for my first world title. Even in that company, Jeff and I, we had like disagreements, but we were able to talk about it. Jeff was at least able to talk. You know, I remember Jeff getting hot at me one time in DNA because I wanted, you know, a match to go a certain way. I remember, and Jeff was like, "Man, we ain't got time for that. We got to get going." And I'm like, "Look, bro, I respect that 100%. I respect that." The guy that I'm not gonna respect is I'm speaking in a British accent. He wondering, he's in the office, why am I speaking in a British accent? He don't have the seal to come and ask me, what the hell am I doing on this television product? You know what I mean? So,
what does he not have?
The seal. Yeah.
Well, you know, that is. I don't think there's anything else that he said that we need to.
No, I'm glad you brought that up, because, like I say, I'm not shy about anything that I've done in this business. I'm not ashamed of anything that I've done in this business. If I am ashamed of it, I'll admit it. Just like I admitted that I was ashamed of some of the stuff that I did in TNA, acting a fool the way I was acting. You know, I go back, but the thing is, I was telling Charmel about this. You know, and I was telling her about me admitting how ashamed I was at some of the stuff I did in TNA. And she goes, "Baby, you know, 20% of you acting a fool is better than 100% out there guys on their best day."
Yeah.
And then I go back and I look at some of that stuff. Me acting a fool in the ring with the microphone, beating guys up. That I can't tell you how many clips that video has. Some of the stuff that Steiner and I did. I mean, it was just funny stuff. It was wrestling. It was entertainment. As and it wasn't hurting anybody more than anything. But am I ashamed of the way I left TNA? Yeah, I am a little bit. You know, the way that my final match was. You know, and I left. You know, on the stretcher and whatnot. And the thing is, was I protecting myself at that time? Also, something that Dutch had said also, as far as I had one eye on the ball of WWE the whole time I was in TNA. That's totally not true. But protecting myself, as far as not letting that company bury me on my way out like they wanted to. Yes, I bucked the system. I didn't do things the way they wanted them to be done at the end. Not at all. Just because I did not want my career to be ruined by my time in TNA. Am I wrong for that?
No. But correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't you protect your character in every company you work for?
Every company I've worked for, I think I've protected my character. Every time I've had something that I had to voice my opinion on, every time that I had to voice my opinion on something, I've voiced my opinion. I hear people, they say, WWE writes my check. Yeah, they write my check. But ESPN writes it, Reality of Wrestling writes it. You know what I mean? Speaking engagement writes it, conventions, they write it, so I got treasures, WWE treasures, they write it,
That's A&E money, dog.
USA Network, A&E, they write it. So yeah, a lot of people write my check. And but that don't change my opinion on nothing. Anything that you hear come out of my mouth here inside the Hall of Fame is 100% legitimate, coming from Brad Gilmore and Booker T. Don't nobody call me and tell me what to say. Never here inside the Hall of Fame or anywhere else to that fact. And I just, people might think that. They may want to believe that, but that's fake news, dog.
100%, man. Well, you know what? I'm glad that we cleared that stuff up with what Dutch said. To me, when I saw the headline of it, I knew that there was going to be some falsehoods spoken, whether he knowingly or not, right? There was falsehoods spoken. Now, here's the thing. There's lots still to talk about, but I feel like there's been this $50 super chat out here lingering, and I feel like we need to go ahead and
let's get it. We got time. Super
give him his moment in the sun, and we're going to get to everybody's super chats. If you have a question for Booker or myself, you can super chat it in, and we'll read it on the show. Richard Jr. says, Booker T, there's a lot of questions here. Do you want Rated R superstar Edge and Beth Phoenix to be the new general manager of NXT, plus have the Judgment Day be in NXT for the first time? Let's answer that first, and then I'll finish the rest of it.
Oh, man, I'm not opposed to Beth and Edge being new GMs of NXT. I'm not opposed to that at all. But my question also is, do NXT need a GM?
Not the way the show's run right now.
Yeah. I don't know if we really need a GM or anything like that. Judgment Day making an appearance in NXT, man. Yeah, they're definitely going to have to do it sooner or later. There's teams down there to, be able to work with those guys, to be able to get a rub and, come up at the same time. So, yeah, I like the concept of Judgment Day heading down to NXT. But I wouldn't want those guys to, be, regulars or anything like that, just because I was just talking to Damian Priest, and I was just giving him props on being able to finally find himself. It's in a group, of course, but Damian was that guy, and he seemed like he was just trying to figure out, where am I? Where should I be? And then once Judgment Day came along, bang, everything started clicking. Now you see the growth in Damian, and you see that this guy has talent at the same time. What he did with Bad Bunny, awesome. So that right there just lets me know that he understands finding, his way. Sometimes, it may not be, you out there on your own all the time, especially in the beginning. It may be something that you need to spark the flame. What's that second part?
The second part, Trish Stratus versus Raquel Rodriguez going to kick off Raw for that last spot in the Money in the Bank ladder match. and Seth Rollins to fight Gianni Vinci for the WWE World Title? Question mark. Yeah, man. Let me ask you this: do you think Trish should be in that Money in the Bank ladder match?
Man,
That'd be awesome.
good God, it would be awesome. But Trish and Raquel Rodriguez, man, that right there, man, it's one of those dream matches.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's a dream match right there. The ladies definitely going to get a chance to go out there and show exactly, what it's really all about. And I'm going to tell you right now, Rodriguez couldn't have a better dance partner than Trish Stratus. Even still at this state of the game, she's still damn good inside that square circle. Vinci, Rollins, there again, that's a young kid who's got an upside. He's got a lot of talent coming from the UK, and now being here, he's going to need somebody to actually put him on the map and let people see how good he really is, and no better person to do it with than that man, Seth Rollins. So, hey, man, I like both of those concepts. But stick around, you're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
Hey, this is two-time Hall of Famer Booker T, and I want to invite all of you to Summer of Champions 9, going down at the Humble Civic Center, 7 o'clock bell time, guys. Brought to you by one Walker, Texas lawyer. Don't miss out on the biggest show of the summer, where all the championships will be on the line. Don't miss out. Don't get shut out. Summer of Champions 9. Now can you dig that, sucker?
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. We just chopping it up, talking a little something. Father's Day was a good day yesterday. I had a great day, Father's Day. Went out for dinner. Little spot here in the wood, in new little spot. In little sushi and ramen. And
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And we sat out and we ordered our drinks. And they bring all of our drinks. As soon as they get to the table, the guys spill all the drinks on me.
No.
Yeah. Everything was splashed. Oh, man. I was just like, only thing I could do was just start laughing. I just started laughing. I said, anybody got a paper towel or a napkin? So I cleaned myself up. I went to the bathroom and that soda on me, all sticky. And I went clean myself up and, got myself together, and I got back to the table. They moved us up from that table to another dry table. And I just sat there and smiled the whole time. And my daughter was like, "Dad, what's wrong with you? Why are you smiling about it?" I was like, what we're going to do about it? You know what I mean? I could get upset. But what's that's going to do? It's just going to make my blood pressure go up even higher. It's going to make us have a bad day. I say, so it's no big deal, So I just smiled about it. Everybody, was calmed down. We got all kind of appetizers brought to the table.
I'm sure you had a few.
Yes, we had so much stuff.
I'm curious to know. I mean, was it? Did you like it? The spot?
We go there every Sunday.
Yeah. Oh, you go every Sunday? Okay.
Yeah, it's a Sunday getaway for me and the wife. Yeah,
it's a nice little spot.
Oh man,
I like it.
It's a real nice little spot. Yeah.
I like it, man. Well, that's awesome.
The guy was excited. I think what I mean. He was a fan. And,
got a little jumpy.
Oh man, they all over me, man. But I'm just glad I was cool about it.
Well, good. Well, it was a good Father's Day. I'm glad to hear that. There's going to be a lot coming out Monday Night Raw in the last segment. We were talking about Trish Stratus and Raquel Rodriguez. Potentially, Trish could be in the Money in the Bank ladder match. By the way, if anybody didn't pay attention to Trish's Instagram on Father's Day, God bless America and Canada for that matter. But I wanted to ask you about something that happened.
You following her anyway on Instagram? I mean,
what do you mean? Why am I following Trish Stratus?
It just popped up on you. You check this out or what? You just are you
First actually
actively? Let me check Trish Stratus.
No. Come up in the news
feed today.
You don't follow Trish Stratus?
I follow nobody, man.
No,
when stuff pop up on my phone, it's like, Wyndham Clark wins the US Open. That's what pops up.
Well, you know what?
Ever since you got that app, off my phone, that you got on my phone, nothing pops up. How about that?
Well, you know what? I will say this, because I'm such a journalist and I always want to do my journalistic due diligence. I follow a lot of the professional
I'm
wrestlers.
sure you do.
And you know
do.
what? Trish happens to be one of them. And I have no shame in that game. She's one of the
Yeah.
greatest of all time.
I'm just saying. I'm sure you do. Yeah.
And look, and I bet you, although you didn't see it, I bet you the chat is here with me. I bet you the chat saw it. Chat, weigh in. I know y'all did.
You know what? You might be right on that. But no, I don't follow it. When I see photos, it's normally I'm letting you send them to me.
Oh yeah. Sure. Look, I wanted to ask you about something that went down the day before Father's Day. We had the debut of AEW Collision, the Saturday night show. It's been hyped up for several weeks now, if not months. We knew this show was going to happen, and we knew who was going to be coming back. CM Punk. We've talked a lot about him, and Punk came through on Saturday, cut a promo, wrestled in the main event. I have some feelings on it. I don't know if you want to say anything about it, but I have a kind of an opinion on.
I didn't watch the match or anything like that. Give me I read the promo.
Okay,
I didn't watch the match. But go ahead.
Well, I'll tell you first.
Night, man, I was on the beach. I was chilling.
I'll say first, the set for AEW Collision. I really like the set. I like the feel. I like the ropes. I kind of like the production of it. It looks real good. Main event was real good, especially the elements that had CM Punk and Samoa Joe for nostalgia purposes, if nothing else. It was really cool to see those two guys go at it for the first time since Ring of Honor back in 2004 or whenever it was. So the match was good. The promo, I know I'm going to get heat for this, but the promo didn't do anything for me. CM Punk, 10 years, first was 10 months since the last time we saw him. And the last time we saw him, he cut a hell of a promo that a lot of people talked about. But this one, it didn't do a whole lot for me. The only line that stuck out was the one that everyone's talking about. And that was the, hey, a lot of people call me One Bill Phil. And they say that's because I'm a real one in a world full of counterfeit bucks. And he made sure to emphasize bucks. Definitely a reference to the Young Bucks. It couldn't be anything else but that. And then he talked about the fans that I guess don't like him. And he said that the fans, and I'm paraphrasing, are softer than the wrestlers that they love, or something, or soft as the soft wrestlers they cheer for, or something to that effect. But other than that, for being away from 10 months, it didn't do a whole lot for me, to be honest with you. And this is not me. I know people are going to say in the comments, he hates
hater, man. Don't be hater, man.
He's a hater of CM Punk. And I've said this before, from his time in WWE to now. I mean, I've been a CM Punk fan, but the way he's conducted himself outside the ring recently hasn't been the best, in my opinion. But this promo didn't do a lot for me. But the match was good. I enjoyed the main event.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm about to make the news.
Right, you loved it.
I'm about to break the internet on this one right here. You remember what I said about the debut of CM Punk in the promo?
You said he felt like he dropped the ball by talking about WWE.
Exactly. I felt like he dropped the ball just because it was so much meat on that bone to actually be able to pick, that was right there in AEW. And I read the promo, and if the promo that I read, the way it felt, that was a promo that he should have came in with, as far as putting the focus on guys like the Young Bucks, guys like Kenny Omega, and all the talent there that he was there to ruin their whole world. And that's why I say I felt like he dropped the ball with that first promo. This promo, he did everything that he made up. It may not have been as exciting as you wanted.
I guess that's, yeah.
But he hit his bullet points, and his bullet points was those guys in that company. And now the fans got something to sink their teeth into as far as, something's about to happen, opposed to thinking about the other company, which ain't nothing gonna happen. That's just you're just talking. Now we talking wrestling. So for me, it's the promo that I needed if I was, running the company.
Well, and I'll give you this: if that promo goes directly to some sort of program with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega a month from now or whenever it is, I'm with you 100%.
Just think about this. Just think about this for a second.
I don't think it's going that way.
It can only go that way, because if you come back thinking the same thing that you was thinking before, that we can't work and we can't do business, and we're in the same place we were before.
Well,
I mean, if you're going to come back talking about it, we got to make it happen. And I'm sure everybody has come to some kind of agreement as far as, look, guys, we may not like each other, but it's time to go to work.
Now, agreed in part. Now, again, you never know what's real and what's not in wrestling. There was an ESPN article that came out with, I think it was Mark Raimondi interviewed CM Punk, and CM Punk said he's tried to work things out with the Young Bucks and the Elite, but he's gotten letters back from their lawyers saying that they don't want to talk, or whatever the case is. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. It could be working toward the angle, like you said.
Well, if it's a better time to create an angle, it's now.
Right. This, to me, would be the biggest money feud. Now, I did read something that the Young Bucks were taken off of an upcoming AEW Dynamite in Chicago, and they were replaced with CM Punk on that Dynamite for that night. Now, again, whether that's looking too much into it, I don't know. But if this promo, like you said, pays off with an eventual, man, can you imagine All In, Kenny Omega versus CM Punk? Incredible, right? Could you imagine CM Punk and FTR versus the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega? It'd be awesome. Like, the environment wise, the build to it, the heat behind it. Would it make me buy the show? Yeah. But as far as, like, I don't know, when I was watching it, I just felt, to me, it felt like he wasn't building to anything. It looked like he got a couple shots in because he was in a home crowd. And then the last part of the promo, he held up a bag, which I'm assuming had the AEW title in it. And he had a little thing that he said to MJF, who's still the AEW champion. That I saw him building an angle to, which, you know what, by the way, they had great chemistry together in AEW. I thought they had a really good program going, especially that dog collar match that they had. But I don't know. It didn't set the world on fire. Perhaps I was expecting more, like you said. Like, perhaps I was expecting this exciting, crazy, over-the-top promo, but I didn't get that.
All the bullet points I think was hit. I think the fans, got something to think about as far as going forward. I think, staying on message. That's what these politicians would say. Stay on message. You know what I mean? So I think that right there was a good thing. But we gotta take a break, guys. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
I am the Rocket, Josiah John. I'm training at Reality of Wrestling. I've wanted to be a wrestler since I was a little kid, since watching it with my dad for the first time and seeing guys like Booker T wrestle. That's what I knew. That's what I wanted to do. So I just have to take that leap, take that drive, and chase some dreams. The greatest thing about Reality of Wrestling is all the knowledge that's here. From all the trainers, Brian Davison, Brian Key. I am the Rocket, yeah. One day, Booker T just called me Rocket.
And I got to give him a cool name, man. And Rocket is just something that stuck out with me. And I think that's something that's going to stick with him for a long time. He had Rocket on his shirt. I don't know if you noticed that, but he's definitely falling into it, man. And he's really buying into what this thing really, truly is. And if he could just keep his mind on point and stay focused, he definitely could do something in this business.
I feel like I've been doing really well training here. Just coming as much as I can. Come early to work out before the actual training. We have like a whole gym for people to work out. What would I say to somebody that's on the fence about joining Reality Wrestling? I would just tell you to just take the loop, because everybody here is going to take care of you and help you get to where you need to be. You can make it here, you can make it anywhere.
Shook, welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Coming to you from ESPN 97.5, 92.5, talking everything sports and entertainment. Wrestling. We're talking wrestling, guys.
Wrestling, yeah. Come on now.
Yeah. We got any more super chats?
Yes, we do. But I just want to say, chat's on my side. Look, Loso Dolo talking about Trish. You know what I mean? James.
Hey, bro, look, it's not like I'm not on your side. I didn't say that. Look, man, I
Half
mean,
Owen said she was looking like an extra hottie biscotti.
look, man,
Double cup.
Look, these guys.
Respectfully.
These guys are young. They wake up in the morning, testosterone blowing all over the place.
I know.
You don't mess with my little private, man.
They need to look at the site. I'm just saying. I mean, come on.
Wait, what?
Cut it up. Everybody. Shoot.
Here's our next
Super chat.
crazy old man. The Tornado, Anthony Y. What did you think of Wichita singing Rollins? Were they in Wichita Falls last week singing his theme song?
Oh, his song.
Yeah.
About Seth Rollins' song last week.
I guess. Or is Wichita the name of the group who sings? Do they sing the song?
I don't know.
There's no song to sing, is there?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the crowd seems to be getting off and everything Seth is doing right now. I don't know who Wichita is. Maybe
Oh, okay. So yeah, in Wichita, Kansas. So it was from last week.
Yeah,
they
man.
wouldn't stop
Man,
singing the song.
Man, they were definitely on top of it. It's they bought in, and that's what wrestling used to be, guys. I mean, wrestling always used to have that fan participation. The fans come there one to be able to do their job as well. I think that's was Chris Jericho, when he came in and did that song, and having all the fans sing it, on the way to the ring, and not just for the interest. Play the whole damn song. Just play it all the way to the end. It makes the crowd, feel like they're doing their job. It makes the crowd feel like they are a part of the show, and that's what guys like The Rock was really, really great at back in the day, was making those fans, feel like they were a part of the show, especially from that aspect. WWE just in general, with DX, New Age Outlaws, those guys used to really make those fans just feel a certain way, So yeah.
An entrance song can do so much, man. I mean, still when I hear like the DX theme song or the Steve Austin theme, like it puts you in a mindset. Like it just puts you in a mindset.
Yeah, you just get like mad. You want to break something yourself, especially when you hear Steve. You just want to get into it. I always say that was the best, theme music, of all time was Steve.
Might
Steve
be
Austin,
the best
I
ever.
loved it, man. So yeah, it definitely changes the whole way things feel when you walk out that curtain.
And Seth has he's got the part that people look forward to sing. They look forward to singing the Burn It Down and then doing the
It's very simple. It's like the most simplest thing in the world, Almost like Shinsuke Nakamura.
Oh, Shinsuke's was cool, man.
I mean, I love his entrance, man.
Oh wait, is that Seth? I think I just did Seth. But yeah, but then to go back to you, like the entrance themes that had something that would pop people at the very beginning, to me, were always the best. Whether it was the glass breaking for Steve, whether it was Brett's. Remember Brett's the Can You Dig It suck at the beginning.
Mine really popped when I got to WWE and they added the Can You Dig It suck at the beginning.
It makes the difference.
It makes a huge difference. It wasn't like that in WCW. Yeah.
And then even Rock's theme before he had the If You Smell at the beginning, it was just the do. It's just all he walked to. John Cena's, yeah. Well, John, did his own smartly, and having the
yeah.
Oh man, they're all so good. Mick Foley's the car crash.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's just part of with wrestling, that's something I thought about from the beginning was the music. I always wanted to have something I thought everybody would be able to relate to. So that's where that Harlem Heat music came from. Remember back at WCW when they first approached us and gave us some music to listen to, and that song right there, boom, it just stood out immediately. And I was like, that's it. That's the one, Yeah.
That was great, man. Here's our next one. This is from Cali Toenail.
And if you find the tenderoni that is right for you,
give us some Roni, brother. Oh, yeah.
Had to hit them both for him. Callie said, glad Jay chose Jimmy over Roman, but the bloodline is really over, or is it going to be like DX and reformed? I don't see Solo saving the title like Usos. Yeah, so we saw kind of the implosion of the bloodline pretty much, and now I think at Money in the Bank it's going to be the Usos, who Bully Ray called the greatest tag team in wrestling history, which you can make the case. I don't know if I agree with it yet, but you can make a case that they're one of the best ever. And they're going to face Solo and Roman at the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Here are the premium live event coming up.
It's bloodline over, man. It's the bloodline over. How are they going to reform? Like DX. You know what? My thing is, bloodline been rolling now for about 3 years?
Easy.
Yeah. And something like that, it's only going to roll for only so long. All right. So my thing is you get as much out of it as you possibly can. You squeeze it like it's a wet t-shirt, trying to get the water out of it. So my thing is, I think the bloodline is I don't think it's gonna fully break up. I'm sure we're gonna, see some remnants of it get back together here and there. But I think you ride with the bloodline as long as you possibly can. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right now, the people still loving everything that these guys are doing, even if they're doing it with each other now, against each other. So I don't know. What do you think, Brad?
I agree, man. And if you think about where we were 6 months ago, you still had Sammy in the bloodline. You still had everybody in order. And it starts at the Rumble with the Sammy turn. And then you're like, okay, well, that's only going to go to Mania when they beat the Usos. They beat the Usos in the main event. And you're like, okay, well, that's it, the bloodline, because Roman's going to lose the title. Well, Roman retains the title, and it swells on, and it continues to swell. And
yeah.
That's
why I say you got to keep it rolling as long as you possibly can, just because it's one of the top stories on the show for the last couple of years. So if the people are still by, it's like all my children. You know what I mean? Young and the Wrestlers, General Hospital. I mean, people still watching. We're going to give it to them.
I mean, when we interviewed Eric Braden, how long was he on? How long has he been on the show? Like
since the 70s. Never stops.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why? Because he's over and people still want to see what's he going to do.
Still want to see him, you know what I mean? And that's why I say good stories, just like Young Rock just got, season got canceled, right? It was
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, that was a good show, you know what I mean? When stuff get canceled, you go, man, that was a really good one, you know what I mean? You want it to last forever, you know what I mean? If you liked it. But that's just the reality of it. Sometimes it lasts, sometimes it don't. We're going to see exactly how long the bloodline can last. Hopefully they'll last for another season.
Yeah. And this is only, again, we've talked about it a million times. This has only elevated everybody who's been a part of the storyline. Everyone is elevated.
Definitely.
Every single one is elevated.
Everybody came out of that thing much better. Kevin Owens, he wasn't even, like in it, but he came out smelling like a rose just because of it. You know what I mean? So I love it, man. I love what they've been doing with those guys and being able to have the time to develop those stories.
Yeah.
That's one thing that, modern day wrestling has been void of stories having time to cure, and marinate. So I like it.
I 100% agree with you. And I think allowing the breathing room and the trust in the talent that they can go out here and make a compelling story, both in the ring and with the segments and the promos, is great. Cali Toenail had a chat that I'll read part of, but he says, squeeze it like a wet t-shirt, Puck, not a lemon. not an orange, but
Bro,
a wet T-shirt.
You ever go into a wet T-shirt contest?
Well, he finished it by saying, "Damn, Trish."
Exactly my point. You know what I mean? So I've judged a few. Okay.
I'm sure you have.
But you got to squeeze that shirt out. You know what I mean?
How does one judge a wet T-shirt contest?
Very closely.
Oh man,
We gotta take a break.
we need to go to break now
Stick around, you know.
before we get in trouble.
We'll be back in a minute.
In order to kick some ass, you gotta bring some. I wasn't born the chosen one. I became the chosen one. Through hard work, determination, and winning.
The chosen one, victorious.
You're gonna be a big star. You already are.
I'm stronger. And I'm faster than anyone they ever put me in the ring with. Being the chosen one isn't just a nickname, it's a gift. And professional wrestling is my gift. That is an absolute guaranteed. What's my name again?
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Get ready to wrap this thing up here. Coming to you from ESPN 97.5, 92.5, talking about wrestling, sports, and entertainment, all
And everything in between.
yeah.
Respect to the GOAT, by the way. I just want everyone to know. Respect to the GOAT, Trish Stratus. Hey, before we move on, we have a couple super chats that we have to answer, of course. H-Town, we lost a legend over the weekend, man. Big Pokey passed away over the weekend after collapsing at a show in Beaumont and unable to resuscitate him. If you're an H-Town guy, you know Big Pokey from, if nothing else, the June 27th freestyle. And we're coming up on June 27th. I just want to pay my respects to the legend, man. You never know when your number is going to get called. I think his got called a little too soon, but respect to him, man.
How old was Pokey, man?
Pokey had to be in his maybe
50s.
late 40s, early 50s.
Early 50s, maybe 40s.
Big Pokey. Trying to find out how old he was. 1977.
Wow.
So how's 48?
Oh man.
Yeah, man.
Unreal, dog. It's crazy, man. Never know when your time gonna come, man. Godspeed, man. Condolences to the family, seriously. He was an H-Town legend. God put us on the map as far as the rap game go. So definitely, yeah.
Yeah, man. So rest in peace to the legend, Big Pokey. But let's go to a couple other super chats here. This next one comes from Loso Dolo.
Super chat.
Man, when is Cooker T coming to the channel?
Cooker T may be coming to your city here pretty soon. Actually working on a little restaurant theme. Be doing some talking about it tomorrow. Got a meeting actually. Delivery only. Booker T's Bistro. Get some of the best burgers, some of the best wings. You know, some of the best crab and asparagus you ever had in your life. You know, so keep on the lookout for it, and I'll make sure I'll be giving you guys a little bit more details on that.
Oh man, that'd be awesome. Big Breezo.
Super chat.
Big Breezo says, I forgot what match I was watching on NXT, but someone was getting beat down and Booker T told Vic, now that's on the job training.
OJT, baby.
On the
OJT. On the job training. You know, that's when you getting the hell beat out you. I love it, man. I've been in that position many a day myself, you know, they're on the job training. You just got to go out there and just go with the flow, man, and pick it up as you go.
Shlomo Schwilliams says, this was a good show. Well, we appreciate that, Shlomo.
We appreciate you, dog. We just telling like it is here inside the Hall of Fame, and we only telling the truth as well. Only the truth and the way we see it.
That's all. That's all. This comes from Austin Heckett Sweeler. Can I fly in for reality wrestling training, or is it just local?
No, I mean, one thing about reality wrestling, I was looking at one of the wrestling schools out there. They advertise $1,200 for 3 months, $1,200 per month for 3 months.
Cool.
I was like, wow, man, 3 months. It sounds almost like the wrestling school I went to back in 1990. And I was like, what can you learn in 3 months? That's what I was asking myself. I was like, what can you learn in 3 months? That's why reality wrestling is a 2-year course. You can live out of town and you can still get enough training within 2 years. Even if you fly in once every other month, you get more training than you will at most wrestling schools around the world. So I think, yeah, it's possible. You can get that done. Just try it out and we'll definitely give you a ride.
Hey, man. So, yeah, hit us up. Send a message to Kevin Bernhardt, and he'll hook it up. You can find him on Twitter, or you can hit me up, and I'll help you connect him. Alex Cosentino,
Super chat.
did you get a chance to watch the Subway Royal Rumble yet, where you make an appearance? It's a great watch on YouTube. Pull it up, Brad. Live reaction. What's the Subway Royal Rumble?
I don't know what that is, man. I made an appearance.
Did you wrestle in something called the Subway Royal Rumble?
Man, I've wrestled in so many matches. I'm like Dutch Mantel. I can't remember half of them.
I'm looking up what the Subway Royal Rumble is. I think I know what he's talking about now. There's a group of people who actually they dress up as wrestlers and they go on the New York City.
Oh, yes, I did see that. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, that was pretty stupid. Yeah. No, man, it's just crazy, you know, for people to do stuff like that. The door open on the subway, the guy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I did see that, man. That was pretty funny. Yeah.
Yeah,
I love stuff like that. I love stuff like that when I see it. Yeah.
Okay, I found the Booker T. Should we watch it? You want to see yourself? Or no?
Okay, man. Let me check it out.
Okay. Here is Booker's entrance into the Subway Royal Rumble. Here we go.
Oh my God, Booker T.
How crazy is this, man? You know, for somebody to, you know, go through the trouble in a real Subway in the city, you know, to recreate Booker T. You know, I love it, man. I love it. Let me know that I did a hell of a job.
He said Booker T looks better than ever. I call shenanigans on that one. That's
thing is, look at all the people. This has to be coordinated. They're on the real Subway. You can see it moving.
Don't say it.
I'm gonna put
Oh,
up.
man, I love that kind of stuff.
Look at that.
Man.
Boom.
It's the stupidest stuff in the world, man. It's to kill it. That's enough. That's kind of stuff right there, man. Let me know that I did my job, and there's people out there that still represent Booker T and, you know, keeping me alive in certain, you know, aspects of the game, you know, and I love it, man. 32 years in this game, man. 32 years in this game, and never imagined and dreamt in a million years that I would, you know, end up in the wrestling business. But I tell you, man, it's been a dream that I never had, but it's awesome. It's been awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. The Subway Royal Rumble. You can't get a permit for that in New York City? That's guerrilla style right there.
Yeah, you can't get a permit to sleep on the subway either. They do it.
They do it. That's true. That's true. You've ridden the subway in New York?
No.
Yeah, I've done it a few times, and I despise the experience.
You know what? I did it once, but it wasn't the subway. I took the train actually.
The train's a little different.
Yeah,
At least I can see where I'm at.
Yeah.
You know, the subway, and like my subway, and the lights went out at one point, and it's pitch black in that cart for like 30 seconds. You can't see anything.
Yeah.
And it is not a good feeling, especially when you don't
I
know where the hell you're going.
I'm claustrophobic, so the subway thing being underneath, I ain't buying into that.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan either. We have one more super chat. Angry Duckling Institution says, "What about the start to Muhammad Hassan's music? How did
I don't remember
go?
that.
I don't remember how Muhammad Hassan's went.
I don't remember that either.
Hey, man, looking back at him, that guy could have really been something. Like, as far as he had real heat from that crowd.
Yeah, of course he did.
But like nuclear.
Yeah.
That's the wrong word.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
White hot heat.
You said it the last time. Nuclear.
Probably the wrong word.
No, man, it's
and I think he was Canadian, right? Well, he wasn't even like of Arab descent.
The world has changed, man. It's just like Dice Clay, man. Dice Clay wouldn't even be able to do any work today.
Yo, man, you ever seen a Dice Clay bit, like a stand up?
Only on HBO.
Brother, man.
I don't think I would fit in the audience.
There's a clip of him doing, because he was known for doing those dirty nursery rhymes, and there's a clip of him on YouTube doing them. And what was crazy and what was kind of genius in some ways about Dice, like I said, I agree with you. He couldn't do his act today, but like with a joke, normally like when the audience hears a joke one time, it's funny. When they hear it the second time, it's still funny, but not as funny. By the third time, you're like, okay, I know what's coming. Those dirty nursery rhymes, man, this crowd knew them word for word.
They wanted it. Like, I'm not gonna say that. Yeah.
They were waiting on it like a wet T-shirt contest. Yeah. Like they wanted him to go, Little Boy Blue.
No, they wanted to follow along with it. They wanted to be a part of it. They wanted to actually feel like they actually wrote part of the joke. That's the way they would actually come into the ring like fans. So yeah, man, he was very, very unique as far as his style went. And, he definitely brought. It's like the world of politics that we're going through right now. He knew how to make those fans buy into what he was saying. It's amazing.
Yeah, and like literally all he did was just change like make dirty rhymes.
He was like this politician, like over the top like that, getting people to follow him before we even had followers.
Yeah.
On Twitter or Instagram or anything. He was definitely people want to be a part of him. And it was crazy, man. Just watching it on.
And that was a character.
No, just watching this documentary is nuts. Yeah. Have you watched
it? I haven't seen it.
Oh man, you gotta watch it, bro. It's great. It just goes to show you where we are in the world today. And someone like Dice, what he brought to the table, and almost like, there again, it was like he sparked the flame. Almost, created the blueprint. I tell you, man, it's really, really good.
Well, you know what, though? The one thing I did hear about Dice, Dutch Mantel says he's difficult to work with.
Of course he is. We got to get out of here, man. I got to get ready to get out of here and head to Florida. Gold Rush, guys. Gold Rush going down. Don't miss out. Don't get shut up. We got to get out of here right now. I want to thank everybody in the comment section, all the super chatters, man. We appreciate that. $50 WAP. Make sure we do something big with that, man. We appreciate you. Bradley, as always, thanks for all the heavy lifting. And it ain't over. It ain't over. We still got a lot more for you for the rest of the week, guys. So make sure you tune in to the Hall of Fame. But right now, y'all, peace. We love you. We out.